Ladies and gentlemen, be jubilant, because we've actually got something like a faction war going on here. We've got 2 Eldar players going off against 2 Chaos players. And I don't know how this game's going to go. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the double PC team. Generally, I'm not optimistic when I see Plague Champions in team games. Normally they're, you know, a little bit lacking in skill, because he can be a very easy hero to use. However, we're actually seeing triple heretics here, which is not common and not easy to use. So I'm quite keen actually to see how this goes for Mr. Hydralisk here, Broodlord Hydralisk. Now, were the Hydralisks in Broodlord particularly powerful? I don't know. I never played StarCraft. He's going to be fighting alongside his buddy War, without capitalization on either of these players. That's really vexing to me. Beautiful destructor there though from Mr. RoboCarp. The Banshee's getting on the PC, chopping up, but doesn't look like a great spot for the Banshees with all these heretics wandering around. I'm not sure why exactly the heretics here are not attacking the Banshees, but are instead attacking the Warlock. Seems a bit strange. Now the heretics need to be careful. If the Warlock melees the Plague Champion, he might proc a special, and then that would do huge damage to the heretics. But this is a big mistake by RoboCarp. He shouldn't be meleeing the heretics, because heretics have increased melee skill. You're never going to be able to proc the special on them. Technically, if you use Destructor and hit it properly, and then you get a perfect special by hitting CSM or the PC, you can wipe a heretic squad instantly. Now on the other side... Wait, what? Why is he saying... Oh... Okay, yeah. Kaz just rotated straight through the mid and over here to help his buddy. So good old War should probably be putting the pressure onto the gen farm. However, there are some rangers here. Well, that's not going to be very effective in deterring anything. So War's going for the double CSM build versus the triple heretics of Hydralisk here. 1 AC tick over here. Plague Sword for War. Okay, I think War is not a very high level player, so Hydralisk is going to be... Well, he's going to be squatting 200 kg, that's for sure. Going to be a lot of pressure on his back this game, I think. But Kaz Kaiser is taking a very long time here to actually get anything done with his forces after he's pushed back Hydralisk. What exactly is the plan here? He's poking a bit with the Rangers, fair enough. And now is he going to rotate to his buddy, who's got a Shuriken, which could be quite helpful. He really needs to rotate, because the Shuriken can't cover all these flanks. There's literally 3 flanks right here that he could be hit from. So not really ideal. Some Rangers coming out here for RoboCarp. But yeah, obviously the Shuriken's going to get compromised. I mean, he's fighting 2, and his mate is just sort of chilling in the mid, which is not really ideal. So this is kind of cool, actually. So War and Kaz are definitely weaker players than RoboCarp and Hydralisk. I mean, I can identify that straight away. We're not even considering the micro aspects here, just the macro, the positioning of the units, and also the choices. Getting a Plague Sword seems a bit weird against Eldar. I mean, it will certainly help chop up some Banshees, and he's doing that quite effectively. And I'll chop up the Farseer. Might even go hunt down some Rangers. So at least the weaker players are kind of laned up against one another, rather than having some sort of really weird mismatch, where we just get a stomp from each side on each lane. Which, you know, never fun to see. Rangers putting in some good work here, killing a lot of models. They pressure the opponent to actually advance onto you, which is nice. Banshee should probably get onto the Plague Champion here. He does have his Fetid armor. You'll notice that the suppression from the Fetid armor lasts a very long time, and actually, wow, he managed to suppress the Shuriken with that Fetid armor? What the hell? So the way it works is... Yeah, it causes the courage damage every 2 seconds for 8 seconds. So it keeps them suppressed for a very long time. Literally, it must be over 8 seconds. but eventually forced off there by the Rangers. That was a beautiful fetid army. You don't really see that war gear very often. And then Raptors for both the players. Makes sense. We've got triple Rangers for Kaz. Well, I mean, the Plague Champion out of all the Chaos Heroes, definitely the most vulnerable against snipers. Chaos Sorcerer gets his own teleport. He also gets Sigil of the Rift, which could potentially put melee units like the Heretics behind snipers. Chaos Lord, he gets the Combi Bolter, which allows him to put tremendous amounts of pressure onto snipers because of the 100% fire on the move. Combined with the fact that he gets bonus speed when he's worshipping. And then you can also get the Armor of Rage to feed more energy to your local Raptors so that they can do additional jumps. Combine all of that and these characters are a lot more powerful against snipers. Plague Champion doesn't really get anything like that. He can sort of shrug off the hits with a Nurgle Worship, potentially with a Mucus Discharge heal, which you see Broodlord Hydralisk has got over here. But generally he's a bit more of a sitting duck. But the double Raptor's going to go in here, so this is clearly both of the players, once again, double tag teaming RoboCarp, but the Kazkaiser's forces are slowly coming over. I mean, he's got quite an immobile force, relying on the triple Rangers. Banshee's doing quite well here, but they need to get out. This is an absolute swarm of melee units on them there. Double Heretics, a Plague Sword, Plague Champion, and Raptors. And now that's a beautiful jump from the Raptors, suppressing all of these. He really should not be blobbing up his Rangers like this. He needs to split them up. And a missed micro there as well, and he just dropped the Guardians, which is actually kind of painful. Not that they're contributing a lot to the actual combat, but now he's got no repair unit in tier 2 if he wanted to go for a vehicle. I feel like the Plague Champion could have killed that Farseer then, but he seems to stop attacking. Knocked him away for some reason. Okay, well this is a good positioning here from RoboCarp. I don't think there's anything, nothing that can be done here. Just gonna have to retreat out. But in general, the Eldar are pushed back. Red team have had the mid here for a very long period of time, and that is reflected in the VPs. They're already 200 VPs up. Probably would be wise to just retreat the Raptors here from war. I know he probably wants to keep them on the field because he's scared of Rangers. Well, I guess he's got his Nurgle Worship, which is certainly helping regenerate them. But oh god, here come the Rangers again. They're already back. Yeah, killing a CSM pretty fast there. I wonder what the counter in tier 2 is going to be for this. It's quite nice if you play double Eldar, one of you can just spam the Rangers like this and then the other one can support with Shurikens to protect them from jumps. Like, he's got the Rangers here, right, but this is the play out, and it's been beautifully done. If the Raptors jump onto the Rangers here, they're going to immediately find themselves suppressed by the Shuriken and then can get chopped up by the Banshees. So it's quite a nice synergy, and by splitting the Shuriken and Ranger building up between the players, I find you can generally get things done a bit more effectively. Because you kind of get exponential returns from having multiple Rangers. You'll just find it easy to bleed models. Having one Ranger, one Shuriken, you lose the ability to double layer your own Shurikens, and the one Ranger that you have generally is going to struggle to bleed models. So then you have to coordinate constantly with your teammates, and it's a bit tricky. So I like that they're splitting their build here, and I like that RoboCarp was supporting this push. So Banshee's actually sneaked around there and getting a bit of a gem bash off. The Wraithlord hits the field, and of course right now Broodlord Hydralisk has no counter to that. So he's just going to have to retreat out of there. War is rotating his units, but oh, this is a lot of things for Raptors to be going into. They don't even have their aspiring champion yet. The Shuriken's going to retreat, but honestly I'm not even sure they needed to. Actually staying in and baiting the Raptors to fight longer probably would have been better. These Raptors look like they're going to die. I don't even know if they're going to get their energy in time. No, they're not. They're going to get ripped to pieces by the Banshees there of Kaz. What was that? A foot grenade, presumably? There's a lot of damage there to the Heretics. Can the Plague Champion get killed by the Wraithlord? Or the Wraithlord goes for a special attack. Actually hits it, but doesn't kill. We've got double Chaos Dreadnought. Ooh, this is a bit scary, actually. Double Chaos Dreadnought. Yeah. Yeah, get the Wraithlord out of there. Gonna need some more AV support to take on 2 Chaos Dreadnoughts. Obviously, this is split between the 2 players here. was saying help. I don't know if he's probably pinging his Plague Champion. We can't see it. To get the revive. It would be a good play to push for the revive right now, given that they've got 2 dreadnoughts. Was going to go for the Tzeentch dreadnought, which will put on a lot more pressure onto the Wraithlord at ranged. Oh, I don't like them both going for it though. I think that's a bit of overcommitment on the AV front. Not to mention, they lose the melee resist, so it makes it way worse in a 1v1 duel. But they're also going to be losing anti-infantry potential now by sacrificing that autocannon for a missile launcher. So if they don't stay together, they're going to be very vulnerable to the Wraithlord. If they do stay together, the Wraithlord will die very fast. Yeah, he must be pinging this Plague Champion. They should be using their dreadnoughts here while they're together and there's no real AV to push forward and get the revive here on the Plague Champion, which I think is what War's trying to say there. So Shuriken a little bit too far forward, kind of uses the Kernus a little bit early as well. Got a Wraithlord in range stance, but oh my god, it's getting wrecked. I don't think the Chaos Dreadnought of Hydralisk was firing there, maybe it was. A lot of damage coming out from these double missile launchers. They missed there, they were firing at infantry, and again, War is looking over here. What's he looking at? What is he looking at? I don't know what he's looking at. But he definitely could have killed the Wraithlord. Doesn't matter, they kill it anyway. Wow. Yeah, RoboCarp needed to get out of there way sooner. There's just nothing he can do. There's too much supporting units there. And even without any melee resist, these dreadnoughts, they're just tanky boys, man. Chopping up those Howling Banshees, not a good situation.
Deploy the right lance cannon.
Seeing a shrine at the back as well, solidifying the mid. Fire Prism is a pretty good choice, because it will outrange them. You can get line of sight with your rangers. It's definitely not got a shortage of them. Kaz should probably be sending one of these rangers over to just decap this point repeatedly. With Fleet of Foot and Infiltration, they'll be very effective at that. So it's a Bright Lance. Yeah. Ooh, Rangers nearly getting the wipe there on the CSM. Jeez, that was close. A little bit of missed micro here from War. He forgot about his worshipping heretics. I'm afraid War's micro is rather lacking. I don't know what exactly he's focusing on. There's nothing going on, really.
We have 200 points remaining.
But he has got to tier 3. And Hydralisk and RoboCarp are now sat in tier 2. RoboCarp going to go for another Wraithlord. I'm not sure about that play. You know, War could easily get some Chaos Terminators with an autocannon next. And I just feel like that Wraithlord isn't really going to do a whole lot. I feel like I'd probably just go tier 3. Prisms are putting on the pressure, slowly chipping away at the Dreadnought, but they need to be microed. If these Dreadnoughts get aggressive, it's going to be a problem. Now that was a beautiful Witchblade of Kernus, nearly finishing off the Raptors. Maybe if he used his swift movement, he would have been able to catch them there with a Warlock. Not sure if one more hit from the Kernus would have killed him. Probably would. See there, the Dreadnought did get some of its missile hits onto the Fire Prism, so Fire Knit Prism needs to keep reversing and needs to focus on hitting the Dreadnought rather than shooting these Plague Marines. But this is the beauty of the Prism. It should always be out of range of the Dreadnoughts. So it just keeps chipping them down. The explosion there from the Chosen Plague Marine is pretty scary. It's a lot of damage. Okay, the Wraithlord has appeared and has now got onto the field. He's going to get into melee with the other Dreadnought. This is not looking good though. Fire Prism keeps misfiring. You've got a lot of heretics repairing this Tzeentch Dreadnought, and that is, yeah, that's problematic. Maybe they can wipe some of the heretics here. You see, the Fire Prism can't really even afford to chase because, okay, it just kills it. Wow, I thought that was going to live another hit there. I was going to say the Fire Prism can't really afford to chase because it's going to get close to the Tzeentch Dreadnought, but he missed microed. He should have been driving up this way. Another thing that he could have used here. Is he going to live? Is he going to get lucky? No, he's not driving it. Keep moving. Keep moving. Oh my god, so lucky. And he's gone for a second fire prism. Okay, this thing is so dead. That was really lucky. Kaz had no right at all to keep those fire prisms alive there. When the dreadnought's moving, it only has a 50% chance for its missiles to hit, and he missed way more than 50% there on that fire prism. And it would have been at least, yeah, 43 HP. One more missile is all he needed to hit there to actually get the kill. Very lucky for Kaz. Now he's in a really good situation though, with double fire prisms. I have to question why War went tier 3 and decided to purchase Chosen Plague Marines. They are available in tier 2, so it seems like a very odd choice. And it also has delayed his getting a tier 3 unit. He could have had Terminators out with an autocannon a long time ago, and that would have been very good to pressure something like a fire prism, because you can't knock over Terminators. So RoboCarp's now going to be going tier 3. He did lose that Wraith Lord, but it actually turned out pretty good, because it kind of baited the red team into keeping the Tzeentch Dreadnoughts in combat for way longer than they ought to have, and they ended up losing both the Tzeentch Dreadnoughts for a Wraith Lord, which is a good trade. Broodlord Hydralisk going for quite a lot of Havocs now as well. And he's got a Mark of Tzeentch, presumably to help kill this Wraith Lord, but the Wraith Lord's gone, so this Mark of Tzeentch isn't going to be too useful. Now obviously, it's got 65 range just like the Fire Prism, but it can't kill the Fire Prism in one hit, and as long as the Fire Prism is on its dispersed shot, it's just going to knock over the Havocs. So I wouldn't call the Fire Prism particularly vulnerable to a las cannon. You generally need more mobile AV, like autocannon Terminators. Fire Prism's now proving quite brutal. The splash damage from the dispersed shot does do friendly fire, but it's splash damage, right? So if you just have your Warlock there tanking, he's not really going to be too bothered. I don't know why the Banshees are going into melee here. They shouldn't. Just let the Fire Prisms do their job. Can just keep those Plague Marines chain knockback. They literally will achieve 0. Hilariously, the Heavy Bolter Havoc here is actually shutting down the entire army, including the State Council of RoboCarp. It's funny when you kind of go the full circle of tech. You get a load of elite tier 3 units out, and then it turns out that you actually count them just by getting a tier 1 setup team. Is this a double Eldritch? Oh my god, it is. Is that actually going to kill some things? It's got to kill that guy, right? Yeah, it killed a Havoc. I'm not sure that was worth it. It inflicted a lot of bleed. Oh, killed both Havocs. Okay. Okay, he got both Havocs, and he got a lot of bleed, and Hydralisk is well and truly stuck in tier 2, but here is a Land Raider Phobos, and if you want a prism counter, this is a good prism counter. I'm not actually sure what the weapons and the weapon range on the las cannons on the Phobos are, but the Phobos should be quite aggressive here, especially because he just seen that both the Eldar players just use their Eldritch Storm, so there is no snare nuke right now. The Eldritch Storm actually is the best nuke in the game for taking out super heavy vehicles, other than Orbs of Bombardment combined with Orbs of the Omnissiah. He's backing off from the Fire Prisms, which I find odd. He can kill it in like 2 bursts of each of his las cannons, and there's very good range on this thing. Now he's getting Terminators too. Jesus, War has got quite an elite army here. I really don't think his CSM have done anything all game, though it's kind of hard when you're fighting triple ranges, but I wouldn't have recommended double CSM for these kind of reasons. Whether you're fighting a spam of Rangers, or you're fighting a spam of Shurikens, double CSM is not particularly effective. Having the double Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines works really well when you're fighting IG or Space Marines or something like that in team games, but against an Eldar, not really. What? He goes for Lightning Claws? I mean, look, I know there's Howling Banshees prowling around and the Seer Council and you want melee superiority for that, but I don't think that's a good idea. I think honestly right now the priority should be killing this fire prism, because none of these units here can actually deal with the Phobos. It is the fire prisms that deal with the Phobos. Wow, he's even teleporting forward. Okay, this is a terrible idea from War. Really bad idea. Phobos needs to be focusing on the prisms. He's shooting infantry. Oh, what's that? Is that time field? Oh, such an overpowered wargame, man. I hate this wargame. It's so damn good. Literally nothing in this area can attack, and it all gets slowed as well. Okay, Terminators need to get inside the Phobos. Can you get inside the Phobos? I can't even remember. Yeah, I guess you can. You just don't reinforce off of it. I mean, he's fighting a 2v1 right now, and there are actually triple fire prisms, so this is a problem. All these melee units can sort of just charge at the Phobos whilst the prisms pursue. And because the Phobos is driving, it's going to shoot at the things nearest to it, which are all the crappy melee infantry, and the prisms are just inflicting damage. Okay, but the Eldar really fucked that. They really messed that one up. They could have got in so many shots, but they were very slow to react with the prisms. Prisms were in dispersed shot there, dealing with the heretics. Need to swap back to their focus beam. And the Terminators are going to get out and go back to the base to heal. So what did Hydralisk achieve during this? He sent some Raptors and a Plague Champion down bot to take the natural, but they can't hold their natural. This is the problem. I'm afraid now Hydralisk is the one who's not really achieving anything here. His triple heretics, they've stayed alive, but they seem to be bleeding him. He's constantly got no wreck and he's stuck in tier 2, and these heretics just aren't doing anything. Sparring Champion heretics dominate the tier 1 of the game, but they don't scale past it. So, you know, when you're fighting Seer Council and triple fire prism, having triple heretics doesn't sound too good. Now, the one good thing about it is he'll be able to repair up the Land Raider Phobos quickly, that's for sure. I feel like War has really missed his opportunity here, though. I feel like a couple of these engagements, he definitely could have pushed more aggressively with his Phobos and took out the prisms. Feels like the range on a Phobos isn't too bad compared to a prism. Like right here, he's not moving the prisms, they're vulnerable. Shoot the prisms! What are you doing? He's gonna get time fielded now and he's in a choke point. There's even a D cannon here. What on earth is he doing? What's he doing? He's just driving forward? What? Okay, that's really weird play. And now again he's fighting 2v1. So that's the CC. The CC? That's the concede. Yeah, I don't know what that was. There wasn't... Did the time field even go off? I didn't see it. But he wasn't shooting, he was just driving forward. I mean, he was kind of screwed either way, because the time field would inevitably have gone off, and he was in this little choke point here, so literally his entire army wouldn't even be able to attack as he gets hit by all these Eldar ranged units. But nice to see Fire Prism's putting in some work. Likely to get a little buff next patch, going down to 125 power instead of 135, and that should put them in a good spot, I would think. But yeah, cool. Eldar winning a match, can you believe it? It feels like we don't see that too often. Bit of a sloppy one, but there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the 2v2 action. It's going to be all from your boy Torpid. I am signing out.